My brother knocked up my fiancée, and my dad gave him the family business and a house, so I made them pay for it the hard way. Before we begin the story, take a moment to support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Your support means the world to our channel and helps us spread more shocking true stories to light. Now, let's get started. This one's going to be long, but I need to get this off my chest. The last year of my life has been absolute hell, and it all started with the people I should have been able to trust the most, my own family. To really understand how everything went so wrong, you need to know the background first. I'm Ethan, 33 years old. My younger brother, Liam, is 30. From the outside, our family looked perfectly normal. But inside, things were way more twisted than anyone realized. Liam was the miracle baby. My mom had a rough pregnancy with him, and for the first couple of years, he was constantly sick, hospital visits, breathing problems, infections, the whole deal. I remember sitting in waiting rooms for hours as a kid, wondering why my parents barely noticed I was there. I get it. Having a sick kid is terrifying. But even after Liam got better, my parents, especially my dad, never stopped treating him like he was made of glass. Meanwhile, I was expected to be the perfect, responsible older brother, the one who should know better. Liam could skip school. He needs his rest. Liam failed a class. He's been through so much. Liam broke something expensive. Don't be mad at your brother. But me? One detention for being late, and I was grounded for a week. The double standards were insane. I started working for my dad's electrical business when I was 15. Not because I had a deep passion for wiring houses back then, but because it was the only way I could get any kind of approval from him. And you know what? I got really good at it. I stayed late, learned everything I could, read manuals, watched YouTube videos, anything to improve my skills. Meanwhile, Liam was, Liam. Smart, sure, but zero work ethic. He'd charm anyone with the poor little sick kid routine, even though he hadn't been seriously ill in over 2 decades. He tried college, dropped out. Tried starting an online business, failed, lost a ton of dad's money trying to day trade stocks. But somehow I was the one getting lectures about supporting my brother and family comes first. I won't lie, it built this weird mix of resentment and responsibility in me. I love my brother because, he was my brother, but I also couldn't stand him. Dad's electrical business was solid. Residential jobs, some light commercial work. Nothing fancy, but it paid the bills. But I saw the potential. I wanted to modernize, expand, take on bigger projects. But no matter what I did, whether I landed a big client or finished a job flawlessly, Dad would always find a way to give Liam credit. Your brother's charm really helps with customer relations. Alex suggested we get a website. He has such good ideas. It was a joke. I knew it. But I kept my mouth shut and kept working. By 2020, I finally moved out. I got my own place 20 minutes from my parents, close enough for work, far enough for my sanity. Life was looking good. Decent income, growing skills, even considering getting my master electrician license to start my own business one day. Then I met Olivia, and that's where everything really started. Meeting Olivia, the woman I thought was my future. I met Olivia 6 years ago on a big rewiring job at a luxury apartment complex downtown. She was the property manager there. The first time I saw her, she was in a heated argument with some HVAC contractors, calling them out for cutting corners and explaining, in detail, why their installation wasn't up to code. Most property managers I dealt with didn't care as long as the job got done fast and cheap. But Olivia? She actually knew her stuff. I remember watching her and thinking, damn, she's different. For the first couple of weeks, she'd stop by to check on our work. Not in a micromanaging way, but because she genuinely wanted to understand what we were doing. That impressed the hell out of me. So, I started timing my lunch breaks when I knew she'd be making her rounds. At first, we just talked about the project, then about other things. She told me about how she grew up working with her dad, a general contractor, how she knew the construction business inside and out. And I told her about my family. I told her about how I was basically raised to be the responsible one, while my brother got away with everything. How I wanted to take my dad's business to the next level, but he refused to change anything. She got it. Turned out, she had a golden child brother too, some hotshot lawyer who could do no wrong in her parents' eyes. We used to joke about starting a support group for overlooked, responsible siblings. I figured that was it once the job wrapped up. But a week later, she called our office about an urgent electrical issue in her own apartment. Dad sent me to check it out. When I got there, everything was perfectly fine. She just wanted to see me again. Smooth move. I had to respect it. That's how we started dating. And man, Olivia was different from anyone I'd been with before. She didn't play games. If something was bothering her, she'd say it. If she was happy, you knew it. And best of all, she actually cared about my work. She helped me study for my licensing exam, started getting involved with the business side of things. Within a year, she was basically running our office. She upgraded our whole system. Better scheduling, modern invoicing, actual contracts instead of handwritten quotes. At first, Dad resisted it. He was old school, hated change. But even he had to admit things were running way smoother. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was building something. A real future. We moved in together after 2 years. Started talking about marriage. Even kids someday. Olivia would joke about our future kids being electricians too, keeping the family business alive. And for a while, I really thought I had it all figured out. Even my family loved her, at first. Mom was always inviting her over, asking for help with computer stuff, getting her opinion on home projects. Dad respected her once he saw how much she helped the business grow. Even Liam liked her. And looking back, that should have been my first red flag. The beginning of the end. For the longest time, I actually believed Olivia was the best thing that ever happened to me. She had my back. She was my partner. She got me in a way no one else ever had. Even when it came to Liam, she tried to make me see things differently. Whenever I got frustrated with his laziness or his latest failed business venture, she'd defend him. You should try to understand his perspective more, she'd say. Growing up sick probably messed with his confidence. And because I trusted her, I listened. Maybe I was too hard on Liam. Maybe, deep down, he wanted to be better. Looking back, that was the first sign that she was already making excuses for him. I just didn't see it. A year ago, things started shifting. Small changes at first. Nothing huge, nothing obvious. Liam had burned through another chunk of my dad's money on some ridiculous crypto trading scheme. Ended up broke again. So what did Dad do? Gave him a job. Not on the actual electrical side of things. Liam had no real skills for that. Just basic office work. Answering phones, scheduling, filing invoices. Stuff he should have been able to handle. Except, of course, he still found ways to mess it up. And Olivia? She started spending more time at my parents' house, helping Mom with wedding planning, training Liam on the business systems. It made sense at the time. I was working long hours, taking on bigger projects, trying to save for our future. We were planning a wedding, talking about buying a house. I thought we were building something together. So when Olivia started saying it was easier to work from my parents' place, I didn't question it. I should have. At first, the signs were subtle. She changed her phone password. We used to know each other's. It was never a big deal. But suddenly, she got weird about it. Said her banking app needed an update for security reasons. Liam started dressing nicer, wearing cologne, actually showing up to work on time, which was weird for him. The two of them started acting different around me. Olivia would casually mention, Liam's really getting the hang of the business. Or, you underestimate your brother. He's actually really smart when he applies himself. At first, I thought she was just being nice. Then she started defending him in family arguments. Even our receptionist, Janet, who'd been with us for 15 years, started giving me these weird looks when Olivia and Liam stayed late at the office together. One time, I came back early from a job because we ran out of materials. Walked into the break room to find Olivia and Liam laughing about something. Nothing obviously suspicious. But the second they saw me, they jumped, like they'd been caught doing something. Olivia quickly said they were just going over invoices. At 7 p.m., right? That night, I noticed something else. She didn't talk about the wedding as much. She used to be excited, always looking at houses, talking about our future. But now, she was too stressed about work. She also stopped visiting job sites with me. That used to be our thing. She'd bring lunch, we'd talk through project details, figure out solutions together. But suddenly, she was too busy at the office with Liam. The sick feeling in my gut started growing. But I ignored it. Because you never want to believe the person you love would betray you. Especially not with your own brother. The day my life fell apart. 6 months ago, my entire world shattered. It was a Tuesday. I remember because I was on a big commercial job, rewiring a warehouse. It was just a normal work day until Olivia called me in tears. She was crying so hard I could barely understand her. I need to talk to you in person. It's urgent. My first thought? Something happened to her parents. Maybe an accident. I told my crew I had a family emergency and drove home as fast as I could. But when I got there, she wasn't inside. She was sitting in her car in the driveway, gripping the steering like her life depended on it. I got in the passenger seat. "What's going on?" I asked. Her hand was shaking. She took a deep breath, eyes red and swollen. Then she finally said it. "I'm pregnant." For a moment, all I felt was happiness. We had talked about starting a family after the wedding, and now it was happening. I started rambling about how we'd figure everything out, how we could move the wedding up, how I'd support her no matter what. But she just sat there, crying. And then she whispered the words that flipped my entire world upside down. It might not be yours." Everything inside me went still. My brain refused to process it. Like I had to replay it in my head a second time just to make sure I heard her right. "Might not be mine." My voice sounded strange, like it wasn't even mine. "Who else's would it be?" She sobbed harder. And that's when it hit me, like a freight train slamming into my chest at full speed. I stared at her, my heart pounding. "Tell me it's not him," I said. Silence. "Olivia, tell me it's not Liam." Her breath hitched. Then, barely above a whisper, she said the words that destroyed me. "It wasn't supposed to happen." I let out a sharp, bitter laugh. "All right, you just tripped and fell into my brother's bed, huh?" She winced. "It was a mistake, Ethan. It was only one time." I cut her off. "One time." My head was spinning. I forced myself to stay calm. "Tell me the truth, Olivia. How long?" She swallowed hard. 3 months. Maybe 4. I had to grip my knees to keep myself steady. "Does he know?" She nodded. "I told him yesterday, and that's when I knew I had to tell you too." Like she expected me to be grateful, she finally decided to come clean. I couldn't sit there anymore. I got out of the car, needing air. She followed me, still talking, still trying to explain how it wasn't planned, how they felt guilty, how they had ended it weeks ago. But all I could think about was every late night, every inside joke, every moment I ignored the signs. "Were you ever going to tell me if you weren't pregnant?" I asked. She didn't answer, and that told me everything I needed to know. I turned away, got in my truck, and drove straight to my parents' house. I needed to see him. I needed to hear it from his own mouth. The confrontation, my brother, the coward. I don't even remember the drive to my parents' house. 1 second, I was gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. The next, I was pulling into the driveway, barely able to breathe through the rage flooding my system. I stormed inside, straight to the office, where I knew Liam would be, probably pretending to work like he always did. Sure enough, there he was, feet kicked up on the desk, phone in hand, not a care in the damn world. The second he saw my face, he knew. His eyes went wide. "Listen, bro, I can explain." I didn't let him finish. I swung, felt the crunch of my fist connecting with his face. Liam hit the ground, blood pouring from his nose. I barely remember what happened after that. Just flashes. Him scrambling backward, holding his face. Me lunging at him again. The sound of yelling, "Dad?" Our employees, someone pulling me away. Then Liam shouting, "You're crazy." She came onto me first. And that's when I heard the words that sealed his fate. "We're in love." I stopped struggling. Everything in me went still. I looked at him, the little brother I'd spent my whole life protecting. The guy who had watched me build a future with Olivia. Who had sat across from me at Sunday dinners, knowing damn well he was sneaking around behind my back. And he had the nerve to say they were in love? I nearly lost it all over again. But before I could move, Dad stepped in. "Enough." His voice was sharp, commanding. "We need to handle this like adults." And then, just when I thought things couldn't get worse, Liam dropped another bomb. "She's having my baby." The room went dead silent. Even Dad turned pale. Mom gasped. Janet, our receptionist who had been with us for 15 years, just shook her head, grabbed her purse, and walked out. Later, I find out she quit that day. Said she couldn't work for people who did something this low. I looked back at Dad, waiting for him to say something, anything. Tell me Liam was a disgrace. Tell me Olivia was trash. Tell me they had both just lost everything. But instead, Dad said the words that made me realize I never really mattered to him at all. Son, we need to figure this out. Family is family. I laughed. A cold, bitter, empty laugh. Liam stopped being my family the second he touched my fiancée. And then I walked out. Didn't look back. The aftermath, cutting them off for good. When I got home, Olivia was still there. She had packed some bags, sitting on the couch, crying. I never meant to hurt you, she whispered. It just got complicated. I didn't even respond. Just stared at her like she was a stranger. Then I said the only thing that mattered. You have 24 hours to get your stuff and get out. After that, I never want to see your face again. She started to say something else, maybe to beg, maybe to explain. I didn't care. I just walked out, drove to my buddy Mike's place, turned off my phone, and for the first time in a long time, I breathed. The ultimate betrayal, my dad's solution. I stayed at Mike's place for about a week. Didn't turn my phone on, didn't check messages, just needed time to breathe. When I finally powered my phone back up, I had over 50 missed calls. Most were from my parents, some from Olivia, even a few from Liam, which honestly pissed me off more than anything. The only ones I listened to were from Mom. She was crying in most of them. Please, Ethan, just come home. Your father has a plan to fix everything. We need to talk. Should have known Dad's plan was going to be some manipulative bullshit. But I went anyway. Not for him. For Mom. When I walked into that house, I knew something was off. Mom looked like she hadn't slept in days. Dad was in his recliner, looking serious, like he was about to give one of his famous lectures. And Liam? Sitting on the couch, a bruised nose, staring at the floor like the little coward he was. Dad cleared his throat. Son, I've been thinking about how to resolve this situation in a way that benefits everyone. Already knew this was going to be bad. But then, he hit me with something so outrageous, so completely insane, I actually laughed in his face. Since he refused to work things out with Olivia, and given her condition, I think it makes sense for her and Liam to get married. Married, my fiancé and my brother. I couldn't even make this S***T up if I tried. But Dad wasn't finished. And since they'll be starting a family, I think it's only right for Liam to take over the business. I stopped laughing, just stared at him, waiting for the punchline. With Olivia's experience running the office and Liam learning the trade, they can... I cut him off. Liam? Learning the trade? He can't even wire a damn outlet without supervision. Dad gave me that look, the same one he always gave me when I talked back. Watch your language, Ethan. Your brother has shown real interest in the business. In fact, I want you to train him. I thought I misheard him. You want me to train the brother who screwed my fiancée so he could take over the business I helped build? Dad didn't flinch. This business is still in my name. If you won't help your brother, maybe you should find somewhere else to work. And that was it. All those years of work. All the clients I brought in, the reputation I built, the money I made him, none of it mattered. Because at the end of the day, Liam was still the golden child. I stood up. You know what? Fine. He's your problem now. Good luck keeping the lights on. I turned to leave. That's when Liam finally spoke. Bro, wait. I turned back, eyes burning with rage. Call me bro again, and I'll break more than your F***king knows. Dad yelled something about loyalty and family sticking together, but I didn't even look back. I was done, burning it all down, making them pay. The next morning, I started making calls. All our biggest clients, the ones I had personal relationships with, told them I was leaving the company. Suggested some actual professionals they could work with. Within days, over half our contracts were gone. Dad called me, screaming about how I was trying to sabotage the family business. I told him, I'm just letting my clients know I won't be handling their jobs anymore. Not my fault if they don't want to work with your new dream team. Then came the real kicker. Liam and Olivia actually went through with it. They got married at the courthouse 2 weeks later. Like this was some kind of beautiful love story, instead of the most disgusting betrayal imaginable. And Dad rewarded them. He gave them a down payment for a house. Like this was some fairy tale, ending instead of a complete disgrace. And me? I walked away from all of it. took a better paying job with one of our old competitors, a company that actually valued my skills. And for the first time in my life, I was free. No more bending over backward for my father's approval. No more dealing with Liam's lazy, entitled ***. No more Olivia. Just me, building my own future. But karma wasn't finished with him yet, because 6 months later, it all came crashing down. The fall of the golden boy. Liam burns everything to the ground. For months, I didn't hear much about them. I was busy moving on. New job, better pay, more respect. Even got my master electrician license, something Dad always said I wasn't ready for. Turns out, I was more than ready. Meanwhile, Liam was single-handedly destroying everything Dad had built. But I didn't find out just how bad it was until 6 months later when I got a call from Mom. It was 11 p.m. I almost ignored it, but something in my gut told me to answer. She was crying. "Ethan, please, your father needs to talk to you. It's urgent." For a second, I almost hung up, but then she said something that got my attention. "We're about to lose everything." I sighed. Put him on. Dad's voice was different. Not the usual authoritative tone he always had. This time, he sounded broken. And when he finally spoke, I understood why. Liam had wrecked the business beyond repair. How Liam turned a 30-year business into a dumpster fire. First, he botched 3 major commercial jobs, so bad that one client was threatening to sue for code violations. We're talking dangerous mistakes, wrong gauge wiring, missing ground wires, junction boxes left exposed. The kind of screw-ups that could literally burn a building down. And instead of hiring real electricians, Liam brought in his drinking buddy from college as head electrician. His qualifications? He once changed a light bulb. I wish I was joking. Then there was the money. Liam forgot to pay their liability insurance. Let that sink in. An electrical business with no insurance. One accident, one fire, and they were done. But wait, there's more. Because Liam had also been taking cash payment from clients and forgetting to put them in the books. And where did that money go? Not in the business. Not in savings. Just gone. Vanished. Though, considering his new car and designer clothes, I had a pretty good guess. It took Dad 30 years to build that company. It took Liam 6 months to destroy it. Come back, son. Save the business. Dad finally realized the truth. Liam was a fraud. A lazy, entitled idiot who was only good at spending other people's money. And now, Dad needed me to fix it. "Ethan, we can make you majority owner. Give you full control. Just help us turn this around." Oh, now he wanted me to run things? After choosing Liam over me? After handing my entire future to the guy who stabbed me in the back? I let the silence stretch. Then I said the only thing that needed to be said. Not my circus. Not my monkeys. The final betrayal. Olivia's karma hits hard. Then Dad dropped the final bombshell. Liam and Olivia, they split up. I almost laughed. Already? What happened? Did she cheat on him too? Dad sighed. She left last week. Just disappeared. Took all the money and ran. The cherry on top. Olivia got what she wanted. Money, a house, my brother instead of me. And the second things started falling apart, she bailed. Left Liam flat broke. Left my parents drowning in debt. Left my dad facing lawsuits and losing everything. And then, as if the universe wanted to twist the knife deeper, I got a text. From Olivia. The text that almost made me laugh out loud. "I know I'm the last person you want to hear from, but I need help. The baby is yours." I got the test results. Liam took all my money and disappeared. "Please, I don't have anywhere else to go." I stared at it. Read it again. Put my phone down. And felt nothing. Not anger. Not sadness. Not even satisfaction. Just exhaustion. Like I had finally crawled out of this nightmare. Only for it to try and drag me back in. I didn't respond. I never would. The last conversation with my father. The next night, Dad showed up at my apartment. No warning. Just standing there when I got home. And for the first time in my life, he looked old. He wasn't driving his truck. Turns out, he had to sell it to cover business debts. "Can we talk?" he asked. Not demanding. Not authoritative. Just tired. I let him in. Not because I owed him anything, but because I wanted him to see something. I wanted him to see what success looked like without him. My new place was nice. Nothing fancy, but mine. Earned by me. No handouts. No family name. Just my own damn hard work. Dad sat down. And for the first time in my entire life, he said, I should have listened to you. Too little. Too late. I didn't say anything. Just let him keep talking. He told me how Liam emptied their savings and vanished. How their house was getting foreclosed on. How they were moving in with Mom's sister in Ohio. And then he handed me a folder. Inside, legal paperwork. The business, 100% ownership. You can save it, he said. You always knew what you were doing. I was just too proud to see it. 6 months ago, that would have been everything I wanted. Control. Validation. Dad admitting I was right. But now, I just looked at him and said, I don't want it. Dad's face fell. Ethan, this is your legacy too. I shook my head. No, Dad. This was your legacy. And you gave it to Liam. Remember? He started talking about rebuilding, about fixing things together, about being a real family again. I laughed. Dad, you're not hearing me. I don't want it. I don't want the business. I don't want to fix anything. I'm done. He looked down, and in the quietest voice I've ever heard from him, he asked, where did I go wrong? I could have told him. I could have listed every single mistake he made. How he let Liam get away with everything. How he chose him over me again and again. How he rewarded betrayal and punished loyalty. But I just shook my head. You didn't go wrong, Dad. You got exactly what you always wanted. And then I walked him to the door. Final thoughts, my life, my rules. Liam? Gone. Dad? Broke. Olivia? Desperate. And me? I was finally free. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more real-life family dramas. Let me know in the comments what you think about today's story. Was it fair or totally messed up? See you in the next one.